LSU basketball coach Kim Mulkey. Coach, we appreciate your time as always. Hope you're doing well on this Fat Tuesday.
Well, happy Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday. Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday. It's time to celebrate in Louisiana, baby.
Absolutely it is. That's what T-Bob's actually doing today, Coach. I mean, it's the middle of the week. I thought we were grinding. I thought we were working. He's off parading today on a Tuesday.
Well, I don't blame him. You know, one of these days when I retire, I hope to do the same. I just got a text from somebody, and I thought it was so cool. Fox 8 out of New Orleans, I guess the three people covering the parade. One's dressed as Beyonce, one's dressed as the King of Hearts, and one's dressed as Kim Mulkey. I thought that was so damn funny.
Oh, that's incredible. Like the night that inside the PMAC where the fans dress like you, Coach, I had so many people that cover the SEC at different schools and maybe the league as a whole that like would send me different pictures of different fans that were their favorite person dressed up as you.
Well, you know, I didn't approve that, and it kind of makes me uncomfortable. But, hey, if it sold tickets and it brought more people in the PMAC, that's great. I think the funniest thing about it is seeing these grown men dressed like that, and I'm like, heck yeah, baby.
There was some great scenes, and you're right. I mean, it brought plenty of people to the PMAC, just like your team does every single night out, but also like on the road. And we've talked about that a couple of times with you, Coach. I mean, when you go on the road, and you go back a couple of games ago, and Mississippi State, like they had their first sellout in a long time when your team was in the building, and having to deal with that every single week and everywhere that y'all go. And is that something that you can see maybe the team continue to get better at handling those road situations? Because I know you dropped that game, but then you come back and you go on the road against Vanderbilt and you're able to get a win.
You know, it really is something that I have had to talk about in the last month. You know, I take it as great respect when we are a team sellout. I will use Mississippi State as an example. They beat us. They get beat by 20 at Mississippi State by Florida yesterday, the same Florida team that we beat. So we're getting everybody's best in sellouts and in how they play. And to me, that means that we, in some ways, in a lot of ways, you're relevant and you're respected. And I need to make sure the young ones on the team understand that. You can't just necessarily look at a game film and think, well, okay, we're good. They're going to play at a whole different level when they play you. And it's because of the national championship. It's because of my players being all on social media. It's just different is all I can tell you.
Is that something that you feel like you truly can get better each and every time out, or is it different circumstances every time? Every building's a little bit different, Coach. Like, how do you try to maybe coach that to prepare your team for a hostile environment?
Well, I think you have to experience it first, and they experienced it at Auburn. They've experienced it at Mississippi State. They've experienced it when we've won as well. They've experienced it at Vanderbilt. So the more you experience it, the better you're able to handle it. I don't think it's the crowd. I think it is absolutely the play of the opponent because of the crowd.
You mentioned Vanderbilt. I mean, speaking of buildings and uniqueness, I mean, that is a very unique building, Coach. And, I mean, Flage, I mean, you took a shot because of where the coaches have to stand in that building.
I loved it. I loved every minute. I'm grateful that the bench at that moment was behind me because my assistant was able to catch me. But normally, obviously, I wouldn't be underneath the basket. But that's how it is at Vanderbilt. Now, I can come up the sideline a little bit. There's a marking there where you can go up the sideline. But most of the time, you're going to want to be by your bench so you can turn around and talk to your coaches. You teach your players to, when there's a loose ball going out of bounds, you never stop playing. And everybody should run to the ball. And those two kids, Michaela Williams and Flage Johnson, did exactly like we preach every day in practice. And if they do that every time and I'm there, run slap over me, I'll get back up.
Oh, absolutely. The old fullback in me loves that answer, Coach. And I know that you appreciate that effort as well. Speaking of efforts, what your team was able to do in the third and fourth quarter against Alabama. The third quarter, I mean, you outscore Alabama 30-9 the last time out, then 24-16 in that fourth quarter. You pull away in a game that looked like it was going to be tight for the entirety of the game, you win by 19 points. What kind of effort did you see from your team in that second half last time out against the Crimson Tide?
Well, first of all, Crimson Tide is playing dang good basketball. They just came off of a big win against Tennessee. Since we played them in Tuscaloosa, they just won, and they're playing really good. So I was not surprised at how good they were playing. So we had to change something in the second half. And so I started Poa because we were going to go to our 1-2-1-1 full court press and try to create some activity. And we did. And we just got on a roll and stayed with it. I might have stayed with it just a tad too long, and they scored one time. But it got us back in the game. It got us the lead. I even played 4 possessions of zone the first half because that's how good Alabama was playing.
You mentioned last year there, Coach, and she certainly had a big game, played 30 minutes in this contest, had 6 boards, 4 assists. She had the highlight play as well behind the back pass and gave you 11 points. Is that something that you can maybe see her getting some more action because of what she just did the last time out? Does that change maybe some of the rotation moving forward if you have a hot hand?
Well, it doesn't change necessarily the rotation of late. She's been on a roll here of late in the last month. So you have the same people that are going to need to play. It might just be more minutes for her, which will allow Haley to go to her favorite and better, position at the off guard. And you've got Flagey and you've got Michaela and you've got Haley over there now. And then Janae can come in. It gives you a little bit more depth on the perimeter at the wing positions if Poa, and we expect her to, can continue to play real confident.
Catching up with LSU coach Kim Mulkey here on OTB. Coach, you got a little bit of an extended break. You don't play again until February the 19th on the road against Texas A&M. When you have a break like this later in the season, do you treat it different every single year, or do you kind of follow the same plan?
Well, we have to give them 2 mandatory days off this week. So we gave them yesterday and we gave them today off. I'll go recruiting today. We'll start back in the morning at 9 a.m. and get after it. We will work on us again. I thought the last time we had a bye, we didn't even pick up a basketball for a day or two, and I just think our message got across. And so we probably will do some of the same thing defensively. We've got to get better in transition defense and communicating, talking to each other, and picking up people when we play teams that really push it.
Playing Texas A&M coming up on February the 19th, as I mentioned, on the road. Already faced A&M at home, an 87-70 victory in the PMAC. Anything to preview for Texas A&M? Have you started to do a deep dive back in to A&M? Or are they a team that plays kind of similar to they did the first time you played them?
Well, they're better today, and they'll be better by the time we play them on their home floor. They've beaten some people of late on the road, so they're excited, and I guarantee you they'll be ready to play.
Absolutely. Coach, we appreciate your time every single week. I would say enjoy the off time, but you're recruiting today, so enjoy the recruiting time, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
You bet. Take care. Have a great day.